and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll? Any persons wishing to address the City Council, successor agency, or housing authority on any item on today's agenda, other than the public hearing which is being continued, may do so at this time. Okay, okay, all right. All right, we'll close. Oh, here we go.
Morris Griffin, better known as Big Money Griff, First District, and I rise today in regards to Section 8. And for the record, let the record reflect.
Oh, hold on a second. Right now, it's got to be something that's on the agenda.
I thought there was housing authority for Section 8.
That's public hearing. That would have been a public hearing. We would have called it then. But as I said, it's being continued.
Oh, it's being continued.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know it was being continued.
No problem.
My bad.
No problem. With that, we'll close public comment. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Move allow payment.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
And Housing Authority members, Dotson,
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Butts.
Aye. PH1.
We're continuing that, Mayor.
I know. I'm going to say that, though. See,
Public hearing to
she's-
receive public comments on the fiscal year 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan.
That'll be continued until July 16, 2019 at 2 p.m. Consent calendar items 2 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dotson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. DR1.
Staff report recommending approval of agreement with Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles for administration and construction services related to the city's minor home rehabilitation program.
Move 1 through 3.
Staff report?
Oh, is there a staff report?
Yes.
Yes, there's a staff report.
Mr. Harjinder Singh, Deputy to the City Manager, will give the staff report.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm here to present the City of Inglewood Minor Home Rehabilitation Program. The purpose of this program is to promote the rehabilitation of housing stock in the City of Inglewood by providing assistance to low-income property owners for correction of health and safety deficiencies and code violations. This is specifically for owner-occupied single-family homes, condos, and townhouses. A quick program outline. It utilizes $500,000 in community development block grant funds. It will generally provide up to $15,000 for minor home repairs and improvements. Funds will be provided as grants that do not need to be paid back. And this is expected to assist 30 to 40 low-income homeowners in Inglewood. Now, we want to quickly define what low income is. That's defined as 80% or less of the area median income. So a household size of 1, the limit would be $58,450. For a household size of 2, that's $66,800. And a household size of 3, that's $75,150. Now, let's discuss what kind of work would be covered underneath this program. That would be painting, patching, devices for the elderly or handicapped, such as ramps and handrails, roofing repair, electrical repair, plumbing, cement work such as walkways, driveways, and walls, also doors and windows. This will also include tile work, pest control, mold remediation, removal of lead-based paint, energy conservation, security and safety improvements, as well as other items outlined in the guidelines. Now, we do have some ineligible uses. Those are materials that exceed the type and quality for properties in the area. Fixtures such as intercom systems, portable fans, barbecues, bathtubs, greenhouses, swimming pools, saunas, etc., and other items that are deemed by the city to be ineligible. Now, there's a hierarchy or order to which the funds must be used. First, they must be used to correct health and safety deficiencies. Second is for code violations. Third is for repairs that make the house more supportive of disabled occupants. And fourth is energy efficiency upgrades. Now, the city developed the program, but then we went through the RFP process to find an entity to actually operate it on the city's behalf. Now, through that RFP process, the city is recommending Habitat for Humanity to run the program. And some of the reasons that we were recommending Habitat was they have experience with similar programs in Whittier, Linwood, Hawaiian Gardens, Pico Rivera, and Los Angeles. Most work will be performed by internal staff that'll keep the cost down and allow for more work to be performed. We also looked at the prior cities that they're working with, and the homeowners had a very high level of satisfaction for work that was performed. And they have well-established infrastructure in the LA area. We have Mr. Dawkins Hodges, Vice President of Programs for Habitat LA, to say a few words.
Mayor, members of the council, staff, we appreciate this opportunity to bring our experience from other repair programs to your city. We look forward to working with staff. It's been a pleasure to work with Harjinder so far, and we look forward to that and to working with citizens of Inglewood to bring some improvements to those who are eligible for this program.
Got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, to administer, there must be some programmatic overhead because you don't get anything for free. How much of the $500,000 will go strictly to overhead for operation of the program? I'm not talking about the labor, materials,
Administration.
the administration of the program.
Mayor, do you mind if I answer that?
I don't mind it. I bet.
It's capped at 15% per the program guidelines, so they're quite low for the work that's being performed.
Okay.
Because they're doing intake, checking the income, as
No,
well as performing the
everybody
work.
deserves something, but I wanted to know what the overhead was. Now, the second thing is, how do you pick the 40 or 50 families? What's the selection process? How does someone apply? How would they know what their chances are? I saw the hierarchy of work that needed to be done, so that's a selection tool right there. But say you have 50 people that all are in the same hierarchy, how do you pick?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways. The
Do you mind? I'd like to follow the program guidelines that
Yeah.
the contractor will be following to answer that. But essentially, we
Hold on a second. Is he going to answer for you?
I'm sorry.
Did you want to answer
Yes,
that
I
question?
did want to answer.
All right.
Since we're asking the contractor to follow the program guidelines, and we've
Go ahead.
spelled that out. But essentially, we have set it up as a first come, first serve, but we can help 30 to 40 homes, which is quite large. We are gathering an interest list, and the contractor will be advertising throughout the city before the applications are accepted. Now, the city does have the right to move people up that list if there's work that we deem to be more necessary than others, then the city has the right, regardless of the order that they came in, to move people up on that list for health and safety concerns.
Based upon the hierarchy that was established.
The hierarchy is for the type of work that needs to be performed. So if there's a house with multiple work that needs to be done, we're going to deal with the code and safety issues first and then deal with other work throughout the house.
And Harjinder, I totally get that. But you see, if I'm out in the public, first of all, you know, if I'm not watching this council meeting, I'm not aware, and then 40 or 50 slots are taken. And then equally important, if I'm someone that wants to apply, how do I have confidence? What's the process, and who does the picking to decide who gets and who doesn't? That's going to be important to people.
We started off by saying it was first come, first serve, but the only people who can move anybody up on the list is city officials such as code enforcement or housing or anybody who's on that list that we've seen in the public that we need to move up higher for a safety concern.
Okay, so do we have a way to publicize the list and how it was constructed so that people have confidence and understand that it's not because you know somebody that you get on the list? Have we thought about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The contractor they have to keep a list on file for the date and time at which the application came in. Anybody who's moved up from that list by any city staff has to have a letter or write-up outlining the reasons that we considered a safety concern or some specific issue why we think the work needed to be done
And
sooner.
I totally get that. So are we going to post that on Let Process online so that people can see and understand and have confidence that it was a fair process? That's all I'm asking.
We will, Mayor.
We
and
will do that, won't we?
We will, and,
All
and,
right.
and then to also answer your question, in terms of getting the word out, we'll use our social media team to get the word out. We'll use Inglewood Today, just all the local public opportunities to get the word out. We'll put flyers out at the senior center, especially where most of our residents who qualify for this will be. And so we'll get the word out.
And I believe that, but I just want to make sure that it's a transparent process so that people don't feel that, you know, it's who you know, and we just want it to be transparent, why people made the list and why they were jumped or whatever, okay? All right, thank you.
I got a question.
Okay, District 1 has a question.
And we also advertise this in our.
Of course you can.
In fact, Harjinder is working with Habitat for Humanity to come up with a flyer that you can use in your e-newsletters.
Okay, Councilman Padilla,
And then me.
and then Councilman Franklin.
When is this?
So basically, once we get the approval, we think that in the next 3 weeks, we'll have flyers and the such ready and start advertising. And then within probably 2 to 3 weeks after that, we should start having applications submitted and start picking the groups depending in the order in which they were received.
Okay,
Put your mic
perfect,
up.
thank you.
They missed all your brilliance.
Thank you.
All right, Councilman Franklin.
So I want to make sure we do not have a problem that we've had before when we was working with the seniors and those that were disabled and low income, and that is with the contractors. Who makes determination as to what viable contractors will be assigned to do the work and make sure it's done to code?
Yeah, so this is one of the main reasons that we picked Habitat LA. They have most of the contractors in-house, and there's a couple of reasons why that's a good thing. It keeps costs low. Their internal staff as well has worked for other agencies, and they've consistently provided quality work. So the only times that they would hire a third-party company to do any type of work, it might be mold remediation or something that goes above and beyond the skill levels that they have. But you guys have sufficient skills to do roofing, doors, windows, and most of the work inside the home.
Okay, I just don't want to hear what's happened in our previous programs where we had contractors come in, things got done that wasn't permitted. Now when the owner of the property, for whatever reason, needs to downsize and move out of that property, that they found there's code violations, and they have to cure and correct before it can go on the market. So if you'll take care of that, I'll make sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That was a lot of fun, wasn't it, Harjinder?
Yes, it was.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, thank you for your
You're welcome.
patience, all
Yes.
right?
Look forward to working with you.
We look forward to it as well. Thank you.
Very much.
I just have one more item to add. We will have an interest list. To get on that interest list, you can contact the housing section at 310-412-8844. That interest list will be passed off to Habitat for Humanity, and when they send out the mailers with application, they'll make sure that those people get it.
Thank you, sir. Great job.
Mayor, move items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Dodson,
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Sparza, did you have an introduction to make of our new housing manager that started yesterday?
I'd like to introduce to the council and the public our new, who is coming to us from the city of Redondo. He has 20 years of experience in public housing. Before being at Redondo, he was with the county of Riverside, the city of Hawthorne, and I think there's one other city.
Well,
Okay.
if you want to say a few words and like give us your name.
His name is Roberto Chavez.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the council. Robert Chavez. I want to thank you for the opportunity of working for the city. I look forward to joining the team, and I'm very enthusiastic about it.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Oh. '01.
Report recommending the introduction of and adoption of an ordinance approving the secured property tax rate for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2019.
Move 1, 2, and 3.
Motion to wait further reading.
Second.
Dodson,
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds,
Aye.
I introduce.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
council members,
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports from the city attorney's office.
CM1.
There are no oral reports from City Manager's office.
CC1. DT1.
Thank you, Mayor. Just like to report to the council and the public, I did purchase 2 million of bonds today at a coupon rate of 2.43, which is pretty good. And we're thinking that rates will be declining. And they were purchased from Raymond James Securities Firm. And also a CD at 2.05, and that was $249,000 of CD. And also would like to point out that the actual bonds at June 30th, 2019 purchase, the total of those bonds are, the cost basis is $45 million, and the market value is $44,971,800. The difference is $28,200, and that's due to market fluctuations. These bonds will be held, of course, to maturity. And the CDs that have been purchased is $53,250,000, and the market value of those CDs is $53,201,098. The difference is $48,903, and again, that has to do with market fluctuations. These CDs also will be held to maturity. And the bonds that have been called, meaning that when I buy a bond for 5 years, usually it has a call protection of 1 year or sometimes 6 months, and when that bond is called, and we've had $8 million of the bonds that have been called, and those funds have simply been reinvested. Also would like to point out that the local and state news, the Bay Area, the city of Emerville's minimum wage recently became the highest in the country at $16.30 per hour. And the Treasury yield curve, the 2 years at 1.88, 3 year 1.84, and the 5 year 1.86, 7 year 1.94, and the 10 years at 2.05. And again, the CD that I purchased today is also at that same rate, and it's a 5 year CD. Again, the national debt is $22.023 trillion. As of January 31st, 2017, it was at $19.9 trillion, and Trump's contribution is $2.129 trillion. And the interest expense through May 31st total $354 billion, $0.06. And the interest that has been paid for fiscal year 2017-18 is $523 billion. That concludes my comments and my report.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. CI1.
Initiative by Councilmember George W. Dodson requesting approval of the city's in-kind co-sponsorship of the first annual District 1 City of Champions 5K Run Walk to be held on Saturday, September 28th, 2019, from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Edward Vinson Park.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Public comment. Any persons wishing to address the city council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. As chairman of Park and Recreation, thanks to the mayor and the council a few years back, I missed it. I want to support CI1. I missed it. I didn't know it was on the agenda, but I support you, and I want to invite everybody to come out on September the 28th at Vincent, a.k.a. Centinela Park, and enjoy. If you can't run, walk. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you. And congratulations and thank the council for passing this. Hello, Mayor.
All right now. Thank you, Mr. A.G.
All right.
Council, just wanted to invite you guys out to Coffee with a Cop this Saturday. We're going to have 2 locations starting at 8 o'clock, the one on Oak in Manchester and the one on Century and Prairie at 11:30, if you guys can come out. And I also wanted to say thank you. He's not here, to Sergeant Blaylock. Last year this time, he wasn't dealing with the homeless at all, but now I trained him well. He's out there doing a lot of work. So he's helping out Councilman Franklin a lot in his district, so I wanted to say thank you to him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Hi, P.A. Ed Mead, Van Ness area, Inglewood. I'd like to let you, 2 things. First of all, you can't get into the building on the 2nd floor. I wish there was a sign in the parking lot saying you can't access the building on the 2nd floor to go to parking. There should be a sign saying you have to go 1st floor to get into the building, but there's no signs.
You
So
know,
come
that
over-
is an excellent observation. All right.
Okay, second thing is safety. On the east side of Inglewood, we get stray dogs, and they come into Inglewood, and animal control doesn't work. They have bankers hours. You can't even call them. So I'd like to alert people that have babies and jogging and dogs to carry some kind of stick or spray or something to protect themselves from these stray dogs, because that's the only protection you have. Thirdly and lastly, I want everybody that comes to Inglewood to have a pen and a paper available in their cars, so they can write down these offenses that people come through and get their driver's licenses and car descriptions and whatever you need to call it in for these people running through our city and not obeying the laws.
Got it. We're gonna
Okay.
have to cut it right there.
Pardon?
We have to cut it right
Oh, yeah,
there
I'm
at time. Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the input.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, and staff. Ray Davis, 2nd District. Just a few quick homilies. 4th of July, for me, personally, it's been the most civil in a long time. A lot of things that I'd had to tolerate for years, all of a sudden, wasn't there anymore. Now, we can attribute that to 1 or 2 things, maybe. Tighter policing, and possibly just the folks that were doing it before, well, maybe they just don't live here anymore. That's the upside to ascension. Some folks just don't make it, and you don't miss them. And the other thing is that the city is just going to have to, as I said, hang on tight. This stuff is flying furious. And with that, thank you for the 4th, and keep up the good work, people.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. You know, there were mixed reviews about the 4th. Now, I live in Morningside Park off of Crenshaw. They only started doing them the day before, and they stopped like at 10 o'clock on the 4th. It was amazing that everybody didn't have that experience, and I think Councilman Franklin's going to talk about in his remarks. But you know, it's mixed reviews, but the police and code enforcement did have a team out, and they would go to areas where cherry bombs and M80s were being fired off, and they would cite people, and those are $1,000. Those are $1,000 cites. The reality is that 4th of July is such an ingrained tradition that some people just believe that life isn't real unless you fire off bombs. I don't get it, but it's something that I believe that we'll evolve as a community, and it won't be as much fun as it was. But anyway, sorry to hold you up, Mr. Bimbo.
That's all right. Mr. Mayor, I was one that didn't experience that on the 4th of July, nor a month before, and maybe a few 3 days afterwards. And I live right next to the stadium, and I thought about the stadium when that was going on. I'd say, I hope they don't get over there and do anything wrong over there. But it was pretty much the same, and I'm still fighting the stop selling the fireworks in the city, because even though I know that they're harmless fireworks, it still drives people to Inglewood. That's something that should be understood.
Okay, one thing about that, though, remember, those fireworks stands are run by nonprofits that
Right.
usually fund
Oh,
children's activity. You know, I just want to get this
Right.
out. I know you know that, but I want people to understand that the council doesn't have a dog in this fight. There's a mixed sentiment in the community about selling fireworks, safe and sane.
Right.
It's legal fireworks, but to just unilaterally cut that off, you would cut off a main funding source for a lot of youth activities. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm not, this is just an information thing for people that don't
There's
know.
one thing I like to add. There's always a better idea.
Okay.
Whatever.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. That was profound, Mr. Bimbo. You win every argument with that one.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to invite everyone out. We have the Chamber's annual golf tournament coming up on July 26th at California Country Club. Call the Chamber office for information, 310-677-1121. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holly. Welcome, Mayor.
All right, Honorable Mayor, how are you? I like that. Honorable Mayor and the City Council, thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm Robert Pullen-Miles from Assemblywoman Autumn Burke's office. We're just here today to invite everyone to come out to our back-to-school health and wellness fair that we have every year here in the city of Inglewood. Is for the 62nd Assembly District, the entire district. We're going to have it once again at Crozier Middle School. So we're inviting everyone to come out. We're going to have backpacks and giveaways and supplies to get our students ready to go back to school. But most importantly, we're going to have health screenings to make sure that their ears are good, right? Their sights are well, and they're in good health. So we know that a healthy student is a good student ready to learn. So we're going to invite you to come out to Crozier Middle School. In case you don't know, the location is at 120 West Regent Street here in the city of Inglewood. It's going to be held August the 3rd at 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I suggest that you get there as soon as you can, early, because it's first come, first serve. We have a limited supplies, and usually we run out of supplies. So if you want to make sure that your student get a backpack, we encourage you to come out. And we're going to have a lot of fun activities, and we're going to invite all the community as well as the council members and the mayor and our elected officials here in the city of Inglewood to come visit us. We're going to also have some visiting council members throughout the region as well. So everyone is welcome. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, with that, we'll close public comment. If there are any council comments, I'll start with Councilman Dotson, but it's not mandatory, but please.
Well, I want to say a little something.
Okay, all right.
First of all, I didn't have the same experience everybody had for the 4th of July. I guess I'm going to have to make my section known to the police department and the code enforcement, because they shot and they shot and they shot. My kids brought the dog over. We had to bring the dog in the house. There was so much shooting.
Not shooting,
Fireworks.
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 The illegal kind. So I just want to put that on the radar. The other thing I wanted to make sure that we all take notice of is the earthquake. You know, we have not had one in so long. I'm sure a lot of us has forgotten that you need to have water and special types of food that won't spoil in your possession. So I just want to put that out there. I hope that everybody will listen and take heed, do what you need to do to make yourself and your family first. So anyway, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Glad you came out.
Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you. I had the opportunity to go out this past 4th of July and participate at the Westchester 4th of July parade, representing not only the city of Inglewood, but also the Knights of Columbus, where I'm a member. But it was nice to see we had the Inglewood High School band that was there as well. We had the Baile Folklorico group from Inglewood that was there. A lot of Inglewood residents that came out to support the parade. So it was just a good way to kick off the parade. But a lot of the talk was the earthquake, because the earthquake had occurred just before the parade. In regards to there's the Baile Folklorico folks. They from Inglewood. So it's really good to have seen our young kids out there participating in the parade. Also, as part of my newsletter that I put out every Thursday, I did include information that I received from Brian Walker. Brian is our emergency office manager. He handles all the emergency services coordinating for the city of Inglewood, and Brian does a great job bringing out his folks and doing presentations. So if you belong to any community organization and you'd like to have him come out and do a presentation for you, please call his office, and I'm sure he'll come out and talk to you about not only earthquake, but just how to be prepared for any disaster they may strike. So please reach out to Brian Walker. I do want to say that on Saturday, July 20th, at my District 2 Community Center from 12 to 5, we're doing a food drive. The food that we're going to collect is going to go to the food pantry, the LAX food pantry, which is actually located here in Inglewood on Beach. And we're going to donate all our canned food, cereals, all that stuff to the food pantry so we can help those families that may not be in a position to help themselves. So please come out, help us collect some food, some needed blankets as well, not just food. So if you have blankets, toiletries, any of that stuff that you'd like to donate, we'll be there at the community center. We'll help you unload it. You can also stick around and have a cup of coffee, a refreshment, a pastry, so we'll be there to spend some time with you as well. So that's on Saturday, July the 20th from 12 to 5 at the District 2 Community Center. And just real quick, yesterday, I think we all went downstairs to the first floor. We had the Inglewood Restaurant Boot Camp, and Sharon's here right back there. Garrett, thank you so much for putting that together. It was so good. We saw a lot of our local restaurant owners that were there, and we worked with them she worked with them with their staff on how to be prepared to be ready, with the stadium opening, all the fantastic, exciting things happening in Inglewood. We want to help our businesses be positioned to be able to meet those needs. So Sharon, you, Chris Jackson, you guys did a fantastic job. So thank you. With that, enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, wait, one more thing.
Oh, my God.
You want to take my minute?
Oh, my God.
I'm going to take 30 seconds.
Oh, my God.
So, last week, a very dear family friend of ours, their son passed away.
Okay.
Tyler Skaggs. Tyler was a pitcher for the Angels and grew up in Santa Monica. So please close in his honor.
I will do that. Councilman Franklin, and for the video people, I sent a photo to you just now. So if you can put that up when I speak, I'd appreciate it. Councilman Franklin, District 4.
Sure. First of all, I do want to acknowledge that earthquake preparedness is rather critical. It's hard to imagine that in Trona and Ridgecrest, clear out in Kern County, that got the mega impact, that it domino effect all the way to here to Inglewood and beyond. If you're not prepared, it's critical that you also rise to the occasion, become part of the CERT training program that we provide, that would also provide that. And also, it's not just necessarily the food, but having flashlights and having shut-off systems so that way you can turn off your gas and other supplies is very critical. Unfortunately, my family, I do have that lives out in Bakersfield, they did have some damage. And so it's critical that you are prepared and address to that. And speaking of damage, I have to tell you, I'm certainly glad this year I did not have my grandchildren with me for the 4th of July. Those that had safe and sane fireworks that was on my block could not even use the street. They actually had to use their own personal driveways to do the safe and sane because the illegal fireworks and projectiles that was used was so loud, and in several cases they misfired, and instead of going up in the air, they went down the street and landed underneath vehicles. So it was rather critical, and I'm glad my family was not there and that I watered down my yard, etc. I'm very impressed, and I do want to emphasize that Sharon Garrett, our new economic manager, has been outstanding employee on board with us, particularly when she resurrected this restaurant boot camp. I think it was outstanding to not only entice the restaurant owner-operators, but also people that had strong interests, that had strong presenters for them to prepare for today and for the future, and the strong interest of now wanting to bond together with all the multiple development that takes place there. So I'm very satisfied. I'm very pleased that, one, it was well attended, two, it was professionally done, and looking forward for you doing it again or some other program down as we continue to develop in this city. And speaking of development, I do want to acknowledge Imperial Highway is almost done from Van Ness on the east to Prairie on the west, and that we will have it striped and everything completed by the end of this month. On that note, have a great day.
So first of all, you guys can come spend the 4th of July with me next year. All right? And I, too, want to congratulate Sharon Garrett on the gathering for restaurant tours. I also want to say a good word about Chris Jackson, our director, who is doing just an outstanding job. One of the big things that is made about our resurgence and achievement is that, this worry that renters will be priced out and that small businesses will be impacted. The reality is this, that small businesses are positively impacted by an increase in vehicular and foot traffic, period. Not everyone wants to go to high-end dining every day. Not everyone wants to go to expensive retail every day. And that's just not the way it is. And so one of the things that we are doing is we're driving more people to the community. And so then it becomes the responsibility of the business owner to make sure they have a product that people want. And that's what the boot camp does. It's like an educational program. And so I want to applaud you again for that, Sharon. Earthquakes. Ridgecrest was about 22,000 people. And there was a 7.0 earthquake. And if there was a 7.0 here, closer this way, along the fault lines of near Santa Monica, Culver City, I call it the Newport Culver City fault because you're supposed to name faults where they begin and end, and that fault runs through Inglewood, but somehow it got named the Inglewood-Newport fault. But anyway, it's really the Culver City-Newport fault. There are about 2 million people, and so it would be much more chaotic here, and there'd be much more damage. And one of the things that Crystal McGlover sent me that I posted on Iron Inglewood was, things to do and not to do in an earthquake. And one of the old conventional wisdom was that you stood in a doorway. That is no longer operative knowledge. Doorways, they get twisted and things fly around a house, so don't do that. I had a picture of the stadium. The stadium is, I have it. Now you see there's the substructure for the roof you see on the stadium, and it withstood both earthquakes. So We're still in effect. We had a test of the structure of the stadium, and it passed. I'm telling you, I was frightened. I drove over there after the earthquake, and so we're still in progress. And with that, we're going to close the meeting in the name of Tyler Skaggs. You know, I knew him as well, Santa Monica kid, in his early 20s, you know, passed away in his hotel room. So with that, we're adjourned.